Hello, welcome back to stream. No song playing. Yes, song playing. Song playing here. There we go. I need to open this in a new tab, I think. Okay, there we go. Hi, welcome to stream. We're continuing the Union Cross presentation. I don't usually stream on Wednesdays. But I actually woke up feeling good today, which is a rarity. I'm like, you know, if I can work on more of this presentation today, at least for like a couple hours to like get the ball rolling a little bit, then, what I can do is I can work on my game tomorrow for tomorrow's stream. So yeah, I'm thinking in the future, I do my streams like I work on the presentation on Tuesdays, and then I sorry, my brain just went blank for a second. I work on the presentation on Tuesdays and the and my game on Thursdays. I don't know why it was so hard for me to just say that. But yeah, I got some coffee, I got a snack, and we're just gonna get the ball rolling here. So yeah, let's see. We have this, so we have all the characters that we need, and we might need more, like effects and stuff. We might need more props, but we have all the characters and the relevant keyblades. So what I'm thinking is, well, actually not true. We don't have all the characters. We're missing one. The most important one. We're missing the player. Guess what? We have the player. There he is. There he is. We got him. Ladies and gentlemen. We got him. So this is the player. The player, obviously, being Cole. It'd be fitting. It'd be weird for it not to be his dog VTuber, right? So we got him. the player. There we go. And we'll put the player like down here, like right above Kyrie's grandma. So there we go. We have the player. He needs a keyblade, but I not gonna start on his keyblade yet because I want more people in chat to kind of throw me ideas for what his keyblade should be. Because I'm gonna probably like open it in a separate art program and maybe like draw it out or something. But yeah. We have all the characters now, so the player, check. We might need other players, but we'll get to that. So I have a new section down here called the script, and what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna like go over these notes and just sort of write down what I want to do in the presentation, like relating to the notes that I wrote, and like cutting out fluff and just getting all the important stuff in here, and like sort of acting out, telling like what things I should enable and disable, and like what props I would need for various like situations, stuff like that. I'll probably only be streaming today for like an hour or two, depends on how I feel. But yeah, let's get started. So game starts with Kyrie's grandma telling a fairy tale about how people fought over light and got consumed by darkness. So I might just include that word for word, but I'd act that out just kind of like I'd get Kyrie, not the player, I'd get Kyrie and her grandma, and I'd be like, once upon a time some stuff happened, and a bunch of children made the world good. And Kyrie's like, I don't understand a word you're saying, but sure, I'll accept it as fact. So, let's see. Enable Kyrie's grandma and Kyrie. And I'll probably put this in like bold script. Enable Kyrie's grandma and Kyrie. Kyrie's grandma is telling Kyrie a fairy tale telling how the people fought over light, got consumed by darkness, but the hearts of children, but because, yeah, just literally, but because of the hearts of children, light survived and they created a new world. I'm not gonna take all these paragraphs word for word all the time. I just think like if I include these details, I could probably like riff off this or something. So actually, in bold script, the word enable is redundant. I could just write in bold script Kyrie's grandma and Kyrie, and like those are the characters that I would need for this scene. So like if another scene like needs characters like including the other characters, I could put like a plus. Otherwise, if I'm like replacing characters, I just write down the new characters. I think that's how I do it. So we enable the player, and he is in the dive to the heart. So that's another thing. I should write down the worlds they're in too. So that I'd probably do that in like bold italics or something. So it'd be like Radiant Garden or something, right? So the player in dive to the heart, and he is choosing his union. The player chooses their union. And at this point, I also want to have like YouTube videos like showing stuff. So like I'm gonna have a browser open with like a bunch of tabs, and I'm going to have YouTube videos like in each tab, and like I'm just gonna play them like one by one when they come up. So I should probably like add like a bookmark or a note. Player chooses their union. Cole chose the unicorn union, and then I select that, and then let's see. I probably added like a comment, right? Show video of Cole in cage 2 taking the BuzzFeed quiz and picking the unicorn answer. So there we go. So there's the context for that, and I just gotta continue with that. So that's all I really need for that. Your union leader tells you need to collect as much light as possible because the other unions want to use the light for different reasons. So just like add, what's his name? The unicorn guy. It's Era, right? Yeah. So I need to add Era here. So add Era. I don't want it to be spaced out like that. No, is there any way? I don't want it to be like spaced out like that. Oh, that's gonna be annoying. Add Era. Era comes up and tells Cole that he needs to get as much light as possible. So that the other unions don't have as much light. Is that a good way of wording that? Era comes up and tells Cole he needs to get as much light as possible so that the other unions don't have as much light. I mean, I literally wrote it over here. Because the other unions want to use the light for different reasons. Want to use the light for different reasons. Maybe evil reasons. I want, like, if I'm gonna put in, like, specific dialogue in my notes, then maybe I want to, like format that in a specific way. Sorry, I don't want all these Steam pop-ups. How am I gonna format dialogue? It'd probably just be like, I could probably do that in like just like italics, just be like Era there's an imposter among us, and you gotta find out who it is. I think, yeah, that'll work. I just put, like, the character's name, dash, and then in italics, just write out what they say. So that's it for that world. So now we need the player and Chirithy in Daybreak Town. Chirithy gives Cole his Keyblade and tells him to fight the darkness. So I should probably... I know Chirithy doesn't technically give him his Keyblade, but, like, for the sake of explanation, I think that might just make sense. Chirithy gives Cole his Keyblade, tells him to fight the darkness. And then I should probably, like, maybe in bold, or maybe in... How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna, like, add props? Because I don't want to, like... You know, I don't want to be, like, reading these notes and then just, like, skip over a prop, you know? I also feel like maybe I should explain the roles of the Union Leader, or the Foretellers, at this point, because all we're really setting up here is... A player chooses their union, they fight for their union, they have to get more light than the other unions, and they're fighting darkness in Disney Worlds. And, like, that's it. That's literally it. So I almost wonder if here I should explain the roles of the union leaders as well. And I don't really cover that in my notes. Because, like, yeah, this is an example of, like, stuff I can just gloss over because... you know, they're just going to Disney Worlds. I mean, I should probably mention that this is, like, all information about who Chirithy is. Oh, this talks about, the roles. Like, vaguely. They each read the book, were shocked by the last page, which said, light will expire, darkness will prevail. They then try to use the power of the book to prevent this from happening. Yeah, this whole paragraph we could skip. There, we see another Chirithy dying on a bridge, and then that explains what happens when Chirithys die. He just goes, yeah, and dips. Darkness is spreading. Oh no, yeah, we could probably skip that. The power bangle is important because it's a really dumb twist. Chirithy gives Cole his Keyblade and tells him to fight the darkness. So probably just in like italics, I'll just say like plus. I do not like that it's doing that, but that's fine. Plus, Cole's Keyblade. And then there's his props. I should also probably, instead of writing Cole specifically, I'll just do it one by one. Instead of Cole, I'll write the player. Because that's how I name them up here, just the player. How's the player? And then player. And tells him to fight the darkness. The player then I should probably, like... I don't know. I was gonna... I might... I need some representation of, like, what the Disney worlds are, because I'm probably gonna, like, do a cutaway where I'm like, you should go fight the darkness, and gives him his Keyblade, and then... You know what? Instead of Daybreak Town, we'll say that these are the Disney worlds. Because it doesn't matter where he gets his Keyblade, it's just he has the Keyblade, and then he's fighting the darkness. Plus, like, Heartless. The player's Keyblade. The player then fights a bunch of Heartless in the Disney worlds. And then that's literally it. Chirithy explains that it exists to help the player. It exists to help the player. Actually, you know what? Instead of doing it here, this is where I'll cut away to, like, the 5 foretellers. Master of Masters. And, Lucio. And this is in, the Union Leader meeting room. And this is where I'll explain the roles of the Union Leaders. And like who the Master of Masters is and who Lucio is and stuff like that. So that's something I actually need to look up real quick. So... Okay, yep. Don't just scroll up randomly. Yep. Each foreteller's name is derived from the Latin word for one of the 7 deadly sins, huh? Interesting. I guess, yeah, I should probably look at them one by one if I'm gonna know what their roles are. Okay, yeah. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna switch to intermission just really quick. I just have to use the bathroom real quick. I will be right back. I'm very sorry. Okay, I'm back. I don't know if it's this coffee or what, but something just hit me. But I'm back now. Right, so let's see. This is where we talk about the union. So I'll probably I'll switch to you know, where is it? Where is it? Clock tower. I'll switch to here. And then I'll get the foretellers. And then we also need Lushu. And then I'll just explain who each of them are. I'll be like, you know, this one is this role, this one's this role, this one's this role, so on. So I need to know what their roles are first. Nothing's literally telling. I know it doesn't really matter, but I'll just union cross what are the 5 foretellers' roles. Yep. I mean, their overall role is to collect a bunch of light. Yeah, none of this plot point really matters. Gula having the lost page, and you know they think he's the traitor. All that. There's a lot of conflict. What are their roles? What are your roles? Wait. I thought I saw something out of the corner of my eye that would tell me their roles, but... What are your roles? It's like now I'm again I just want to put something to the foretellers. Like this is the this one, this is the this one. But now I'm why aren't you telling me their roles? Who are the foretellers? Before the Keyblade War. Yep. Yep. Okay. What are your roles? I don't care about Gula and him summoning Kingdom Hearts. They're in the foretellers and their roles. Okay. Here we go. This person is, yeah, comparing each of the foretellers to a deadly sin, and comparing their roles to how they fit with that. But I at least now know what their roles are. It's given the role to take over for the master and lead others. Okay, so let's start writing this stuff down. A while ago, the Master of Masters summoned his 5 apprentices and gave each of them a role. Era. The Master of Masters summoned his 5 apprentices to tell them that he is going to disappear Master of Masters is going to disappear. And he wanted to give each of his foretellers a role. Each of his apprentices a role. It's going to disappear. So how should I word that? Master summoned his 5 apprentices to tell him he's going to disappear. And he gave each of them a role. A role to play out while he was gone. Ira was to take over for the master and lead over the other apprentices. Hey Wiljo, we're still doing this. I figure it's a surprise stream. I'm not going to usually stream on Wednesdays, but I figure if I work on more of this presentation today, at least for a couple hours, then... I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. If I work on this presentation for at least a couple hours today, then maybe I can have tomorrow's stream be I just work on my game for a bit, and then I could have like Tuesday stream be working on this, and Thursday stream be working on my game. So that's what we're doing. I'm writing the script for how I want the presentation to go. I'm going through my notes here, and I'm writing down all the important parts. And I realized that I never wrote down anything about the foretellers' roles. So that's what I'm doing right now. So Ira is to take over for the other apprentices. Envy. They do have roles, but they're not really that important, which is probably why I never wrote them down. But I do want to mention them because just to like put a thing they do to the character besides, you know, just their really dumb Latin names. I thought they were just politicians. I mean, basically, yeah, but they each have their own roles or whatever. So Ira was to... So the Master of Masters, like this is like way at the start of everything. He summoned his 5 apprentices to be like, hey, I'm gonna dip. I'm just gonna disappear. I don't want to lead y'all anymore. I'm gonna give each of you a role. Ira was to take over and lead the other apprentices. Envy... Okay, this doesn't really say here. Her job is to watch over the others. That's very vague. So I'll write Envy's down in a bit. Ased was supposed to be like right-hand man to Ira, I think. Envy's role is to be jealous, I suppose. Listen, maybe, I don't know. Ased was to be Ira's right-hand man and support him as he led. Ava. Yeah, Ava's is the most important, and this is another reason why I wanted to mention the roles. So actually, I'll mention Ava last. Gula was to be the holder of the lost page of the book of... Well, he was just supposed to research the book of prophecies, right? Yeah, he had like vital information and he knew stuff about the book of prophecies. And we know Lushu's role. Lushu's role was to take the Keyblade and the box and watch over everyone so that the book of prophecies can exist, essentially. So let me find a better... I tried Googling what these foretellers' roles are, and none of it really says anything. I go. What are the 5 foretellers' roles? Are the foretellers truly good guys? I don't care. What are their roles? Maybe instead of Union Cross, what if I search like Kingdom Hearts back cover foretellers roles. Thank you. Alright, this explains it explicitly. I wouldn't use the word we in that sentence. I was just speaking off my mind, so I don't even know what sentence you were referring to. Yep, we know about Lushu's role. Ira was to take over for the Master. Envy was giving the role to watch over the... Okay, thank you. Envy was to watch over the other apprentices and report back to Ira. Ased was to be Ira's right-hand man and support him as he led. Gula, what's Gula? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Gula was to uncover the mysteries of the Book of Prophecies. It's very vague, but that's how they say it in the thing, so it's fine. Gula was to be the one to research and uncover the mysteries behind the Book of Prophecies. I did not spell that right. Thank you. There we go. Envy's a stalker, basically. Both Lushu and the Master disappeared without a trace. Right. Right, and we need Ava as well. So Ava was to gather Keyblade wielders and bring them to the new world after this one is destroyed. So I should probably explain earlier in this paragraph. So a while ago, the Master summoned his 5 apprentices to tell him he's going to disappear, and he gave each of them a role to play out while he was gone. He also gave them... He gave each of them the Book of Prophecies, right? Well, no. Like a copy of the book or something. Yeah. He wrote a Book of Prophecies. He gave a copy of the book to his 5 apprentices. Yeah. He also gave each of them a copy of the Book of Prophecies, which is a book the Master wrote detailing everything that is going to happen in the future, and states that, well, it details everything that's going to happen in the future. The last page of the book states that this world is going to be destroyed. So let's see if when I read it back it makes sense. A while ago, the Master summoned his 5 apprentices to tell him he's going to disappear, and he gave each of them a role to play out while he was gone. He also gave each of them a copy of the Book of Prophecies, which is a book the Master wrote, detailing everything that's going to happen in the future. The last page of the book states that this world is going to be destroyed, and then it tells of each of their roles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, I forget how to do it, but I think, is it format? Tools? I want to get rid of these page lines. I want to make this pageless. I forget how to do that. Let me Google. To Google. Google Docs pageless. It's file page setup. Page setup. Thank you. Pageless. Thank you. Oh, that's better. Oh, that's so much better. Thank you. So Lushu was given the role to take a mysterious box and his Keyblade, no name, with him to the future, or just like with him to watch over the events of the world so that the book of prophecies can be written. And then I'll just say, like, the book of prophecies can't be written if no one is there to watch over everything. To just kind of, like, you know, further imply that you can't document the future if no one's there to document it. I mean, yeah, I was thinking we could skip the roles too, but like, the reason why I wanted to include them is to be like, so in the presentation I'm gonna be like, alright, this one's the leader, this one's like the second-hand man, this one's researching the book, this one's, you know, watching over the apprentices, just to be like, and then I'll be like, and then this one is supposed to gather Keyblade wielders, just to be like, here's these characters so that you don't have to remember their dumb Latin names. Here's what each of them do. So when I reference one, Cole could be like, oh, this one's the leader, right? And I'm like, yeah, that one's the leader. And then this one's the second-hand man and stuff like that. I also want to mention stuff like, because I know it comes back into play, like how Ava is supposed to gather Keyblade wielders. That's kind of the whole point of Union Cross after Kingdom Hearts Keys. They're all in the new world. And Lushu with his Keyblade and the box, that's also very important. So I think that's important to actually state that. But you know, otherwise you're right, the roles don't really matter. But just to like put a thing they do to the character, just to be like, you know, whatever. Lushu was given the role to take a mysterious box and his Keyblade no name with him to watch over the events of the world so that the Book of Prophecies can be written. The Book of Prophecies can't be written if no one's there to watch over everything. Also, he was told to never open the box. Well, see, the thing is, in back cover, the master shows him what's in the box. And he's like, what? Why is this in the box? But we as the audience don't know what's in the box. So I should probably mention that just to be like, look at this thing that's really frustrating that happened. So the Book of Prophecies can't be written with no one there to watch over everything. The master shows him what's in the box, but we as the audience don't get to see what's in it. He's then told to never open the box. Yeah, a descriptor's easier to remember than a name, especially when their names are Ira and Envy and Gula and stuff like that. Yeah. That box is the world's biggest sequel bait. It's the world's biggest sequel bait that they keep using. They have this box, and they're like, oh, you must never open it. So you think like, oh, so that means they're going to open it in Kingdom Hearts 3, right? They don't even open it in Kingdom Hearts 3. And I'm willing to bet that they don't even open it in Kingdom Hearts 4 either. Or they don't even open it in Missing Link or whatever. It's like, it's the one trope they have that they could just be like, yeah, now they have to come back for the sequel. Because we don't have any more ideas. Sorry, I'm also eating a grilled cheese, and it's very delicious. Yeah, they use that box to hype up Kingdom Hearts 3, and they don't even open it in Kingdom Hearts 3. It's so dumb. She's then told to never open the box. I should probably get the box. So... You know what? This is probably redundant. I was thinking of, like... I want to have, like, little things here to be like, this is when, you know, don't forget to enable this prop and this prop and this prop. But, as I read these notes, I should know what props need to be enabled, because I mentioned the box and the Book of Prophecies, which I should probably get those. So... I think it's important to know what the box looks like, but it's not as important to know what the Book of Prophecies look like. So we can have a little fun with what the book looks like, but I'm gonna grab Master or Union Cross Lushu box, and I want like a transparent image of it. Yeah, here we go. So I'll just have like a list of props that I can just bring out here. So, new layer group. Oh, I don't want you in there. Props. Five Nights at Freddy's had the exact same box sequel bait? Really? I didn't even know about that. Go. And there's the box. So Lushu has the box. Right. I also want to mention that I stole Cole's dog VTuber. So let me just hide all these real quick. We have the player. The player's here, and it's Cole's dog VTuber. We still need to give him a Keyblade though. So if you have any ideas on what Cole's Keyblade should be, let me know. But yeah, I'm representing Cole by just having his dog VTuber. They actually changed what the box contains mid-development because Game Theory figured it out from a trailer. That's awesome. That's very hilarious. Mr. Damien Main. Right, because the player's name in the video I watched, his name was Damien. I completely forgot about that. So that's everything about Lushu. The Foretellers and the Masters and their roles. I also probably mention that because the whole reason why I went on this side tangent in the first place is because Chirithy is the one telling the player all this. Well, not all this, but we also need to explain like who Chirithy is and what their deal is. The Master of Masters created Chirithy, I believe. So before he summons his apprentices to do the whole role thing, I should probably explain what Chirithy is. I will exclusively refer to him as Damien during that stream. So no one's gonna get the bit, and I won't. I won't expound on it, so we can all be confused together. It'll be reason to watch the VODs. So a while ago, the Master of Masters created a little guy called Chirithy. Chirithy is a being born of light. How did I write it in my notes? And serves to help the player. Every Keyblade wielder has their own Chirithy. Isn't Chirithy a Dream Eater? I think so. Well, when a Chirithy dies with its, with its master, with its Keyblade wielder, they can turn, well, they are a Dream Eater, but they can turn into, like, one of the Dream Eaters we see in Dream Drop Distance. Like, they can turn into a Meow Wow or one of the Bat guys or whatever. But otherwise, yes, they are a Dream Eater. And every Keyblade wielder has their own Chirithy. So that's all I really need to mention about Chirithy. So I should probably be like, Chirithy shows up here. The master then summoned his 5 apprentices, telling me he's going to disappear and give each of them a role to play out, yada yada yada. Player fights more Heartless. I don't need to mention... Yeah, darkness is spreading. I should probably have a section... Maybe back in the Disney worlds. We have... the player, Chirithy, and Heartless. The one in Kingdom Hearts 3 is Ventus's Chirithy, because he mentions that he's in the world between, he's in like purgatory with the endless ocean and sky or whatever, and Sora goes up to him and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "I'm waiting for a friend." And then during the credits, we see Terra Aqua and Ventus grieving over Ericus, and Chirithy like pops up, and Sora like pushes him along to go meet with Ventus, and then they like hug it out and stuff. Or was it in Birth by Sleep? I think Chirithy was just kind of chilling in the land of ocean and sky during Birth by Sleep. He wasn't in the world. He didn't exist in the world. He was just chilling there, literally. But because of the events of Kingdom Hearts 3, Sora was able to like bring Chirithy out of that world and be like, "Yo, go meet with Ventus and be chill," or something. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we'll get to it. Let's see. Yeah, more Disney World shenanigans. Actually, you know what? Let me get this paragraph. Because this paragraph explains who Chirithy is and all that. So let's put that paragraph up at the top. Let's bring them down here to be like, so you are assigned to your union, and Ira's like, there's an imposter among us, and you gotta find out who it is. Actually, is that important? Maybe I'll put that as like a footnote at the end of this. What did I do? No, I don't want Wikipedia. No, I closed everything. Dang it. Hold on. I gotta get everything set back up. Dang it, I accidentally hit a button and everything just closed. Give me a second. Okay, we're back. I got everything back up again. Yeah, of course, I do want to include it because the whole imposter thing is kind of important, and we need to make the Among Us joke. Absolutely. So, he was told never to open the box. Oh, also, does the master tell them that there's an imposter among them, or do they just find that out amongst themselves? I'm not 100% sure what the deal is with that. I think it'll be fine to just say, like, the foretellers leave to lead over their unions. As they are leading, they slowly find out that I think the master tells them that there's an imposter among them. It doesn't really matter. The master then tells everyone that there is an imposter among them, and they gotta find out who it is. The foretellers leave to lead over their unions, and the master and Lushu disappear. So I guess that's the last time we see the Master of Masters. The game fixated on the imposter thing a lot, just as like a oh, aren't you interested in this story? You gotta find out who the imposter is. It's a lot of like, gee, I wonder who this imposter is. Maybe it's this person, maybe it's this person. Just to like keep you more hooked, and then the reveal at the end. But it's not like it like drives any character motivations or anything. Even though the reveal is a wet fart, literally, yeah. And we'll get to that. The Chirithy gives the players Keyblade, tells them to fight the darkness. Player then fights a bunch of Heartless at the Disney Worlds. And they're, you know, he's fighting Heartless. Bam, bam, bam. Fight some more Heartless. It's being born of light. Is Heartless. I should also say, like, Chirithy explains. I suppose I don't really have to put like Chirithy explains because that doesn't matter. When a Keyblade wielder with a Chirithy dies, that Chirithy also dies. Should probably mention that too. Because the whole thing... Yeah, and your union leader comes out and he's like, bruh, you're gotta make sure you fight the darkness. I should probably also explain, like, why, like, his motivation for fighting darkness. Just to be like... The player's motivation for fighting darkness is to collect more light than the other unions. I should probably also mention that, like, your union leader is, like, almost pressuring you to, like, get more light than the others because they're involving you in their problems and saying, since there's an imposter among us, it's up to you to, you know, get more light. So get to it, bucko. You don't want the world to be destroyed, do ya? So I'll mention that. I'll be like, Ira is pressuring the player to get more light because he wants to involve the player in his own problem. Did I word that right? He's pressuring the player to get more light because he wants to involve the player in his own problem and make the player find the imposter among them. Another Among Us joke. I don't know. I'll probably revise that. And then just mention when a Keyblade wielder with the Chirithy dies, the Chirithy also dies. I'll mention that too. So I don't know. I'll probably get like Ira in here as well. Let me just separate these into paragraphs just to make that more legible. Maybe I'll just make Ira say, like... You don't want the world to be destroyed, do ya? Better get more light, fucker. We just better get more light. Don't want the world to be destroyed. And then, yeah. And then I'll also mention here about the whole power bangle thing, because that comes up. After fighting a bunch of Heartless, Chirithy gives the player a power bangle. So, you know, instead of adding all these props as I'm, like, going to the presentation, I'll make another thing for props up here. So, props. I know I need the Book of Prophecies, the black box, which I can check because we already have. And we need... Do we need any other props? We already have all the Keyblades, so we don't need any Keyblades. The prompt? What's the prompt? I suppose I should give some indication of, like, lux. Lux, maybe. And we also need the power bangle. Collect more light, and then in parentheses I'll just write or how the or just lux. What's lux is lux is the light. So the whole thing is that the 5 unions are tasking their group of Keyblade wielders to collect a bunch of light. They want more light than the other unions. Light is just lux. You can replace the word light with lux. They're the same. They're interchangeable. They're the same thing. It's just like, it's what Union Cross considers your experience, I think. And you can, like, spend lux on upgrades and stuff like that. It's just what the game calls light. So that's, I just put in parentheses, or it's, you know, light or lux. And then, like, I don't know, maybe I'll have, like, a representation of, like, you know, Cole fighting the Heartless and then him getting Lux or whatever. You get a power bangle. Truthy gives the player a power bangle. And then maybe I'll make Truthy say, like, please equip this and never take it off. Please. Please equip this and never take it off, please. I would greatly appreciate it. And it's totally not suspicious at all. Haha. Smile. There we go. After it leaves, another Truthy comes down the stairs. He just goes, huh? Which the whole thing is, I think that's the Dark Truthy giving him the power bangle. But, like, you're not supposed to know that because they all look the same. Right, so this is the point here where the player meets Ephemer. So in Daybreak Town, we need Ephemer and the player. So I'll just say, like, as the player is fighting more Heartless, he sees Ephemer being attacked. The player then goes to help him out. There we go. Introduces Ephemer. He's from a different union. So yeah, this, now we're explaining what Ephemer's whole deal is. Right, and he also explains how you're able to go to the Disney Worlds. I feel like that's also important because that's going to make Cole really, really mad. So, Ephemer. We'll just have him say, gee, thanks. Mr. My name is Ephemer. I'm from a different union from the one you picked, but we can be friends. I'm from a different union than the one you picked, but we can be friends. I'm wondering how I'm gonna do this, because, like, I don't want to explain what the Disney worlds are through Ephemer. I'll just say, like, Ephemer then explains how the Disney worlds work. And then I'll write down how the Disney worlds work. It's all from the Book of Prophecies. So, okay, I'll explain how the Disney worlds work, and then in Ephemer's voice, I'll be like, boy, gee whiz, mister, I want to find out what this Book of Prophecies is and what it's all about, so I'm gonna go to the tower to investigate. I know I'm technically not allowed in there, but I'm a bad kid, haha. So I think that's how I'm gonna do it. So the Disney worlds... The way the Disney worlds work is they are a projection of the future from the Book of Prophecies. Basically, the way I want to explain it is basically the player is going to that world on the map with like a VR headset on, showing them the future, being like, you're in this vast desert, but in the VR goggles you could see Aladdin and Jasmine and Jafar and all them. Basically, the player physically goes to where these worlds are on the map, but they have VR goggles on, showing them the future. So basically, while the player is roaming an empty desert, the player, they are seeing Aladdin and Jafar and Jasmine from the future and interacting with them. Aladdin and Jasmine, yeah. And I wanna use specifically Aladdin as an example, because I know that's gonna make Cole especially mad. So basically, the player physically goes to where these worlds are on the map. They have VR goggles on, showing them the future. So basically, while the player is roaming an empty desert, they are seeing Aladdin and Jafar and Jasmine from the future and interacting with them. The light that, or I should say, like, the lux that they get from these worlds come from the present version of the worlds. So that's how the Disney worlds work, and it's really dumb and stupid, and I love it. So after this, I'll have Ephemer explain. I don't know how he knows about the Book of Prophecies. He just kind of does, doesn't he? wants to find out more specifically how it all works, so he goes to the tower. What dream did the player had? I didn't think that was important. He's in a tower with all the foretellers, and he gets consumed by darkness. The dream doesn't matter. It's fine. Ephemer then goes, isn't this book of prophecies real neat? I'm gonna investigate it more. I want to find out more. I want to find out more about it, so I'm going to this really spooky tower where all the union leaders hang out. I'll go to this real spooky tower where all the union leaders hang out in order to find out more. Surely nothing will go wrong. Haha. And the player goes, yeah, sure, I'll go with you because I literally have nothing better to do. Oh yeah, and then Dark Chirithy shows up, but it's not really that important. I'll have the reveal for the Dark Chirithy like at the end. Oh, we dropped some frames, didn't we? Looks like we're fine though. We might be back up. I'm just gonna have the stream open here. I'm gonna refresh it. Okay. Yeah, we're good. We just dropped some frames for a bit, but we're fine. Oh, also I made it so that even if I stop stream, the VOD is still recording. So I shouldn't have to stitch together the VOD if the stream goes down. So yeah. So Ephemer's like, well, all right. Let me read from the top here. Let me see how this goes. The player's fighting more heartless. He sees instead of he sees a weird dude with silver hair being attacked. The player goes to help him out. Ah, gee, thanks, mister. My name's Ephemer. I'm from a different union. We could be friends. He then explains how the Disney worlds work. Who knows how he knows all this information, but sure, why not? Isn't this book of prophecies real neat? I want to find out more, so I'm going to this really spooky tower where all the union leaders hang out in order to find out more. Surely nothing will go wrong. Yeah, I'll go with you, because I literally have nothing better to do. And then Chirithy goes like, what? You can't do that. So the master is telling, here I have, I guess this is like a flashback. So I should probably include it up here. So Ava, because this paragraph is explaining Ava's role in more detail and how she gets a list of names. Ava is to gather Keyblade wielders and bring them to the new world after this one was destroyed. I suppose I should expound on how the world gets destroyed. So just the last page of the book states that this world is going to be destroyed by a great Keyblade war between all the unions. because there's an imposter among them. And then that's where I'll make the Among Us joke. So I don't have to do it down here. Last page of the book says this world's going to be destroyed by a great Keyblade war between all the unions because there's an imposter among them and they just can't stop fighting about it. Foretellers leave to lead over their unions. The Master and Lucia disappear, right? Yeah. So Avos to gather Keyblade wheelers, bring them to the new world after this one was destroyed. The Master hands her a list of 5 names, each of which will be new union leaders. Will be the union leaders in the new world. One of the names is circled in red, and that person is the one who will receive the Book of Prophecies. So there we go. We'll add that detail on there. Alright, then it explains that Ephemer is one of the new union leaders. Let's see, how far down does this go? Okay, so Kingdom Hearts Key is 4 pages. I'm wondering... I'll at least write the script explaining the entirety of Kingdom Hearts Key before I end the stream today, just to, like, make some decent progress. Because, like, there's nothing I'm really skipping over here. This all seems pretty important so far. Besides, well, I should probably mention that Ephemer says, alright, cool. Meet me here at this fountain tomorrow. Because then the player meets him there at the fountain, but he never shows up. I wonder if this comes up again. You know what? I won't mention this until after Kingdom Hearts Key, because then I'll have everyone wake up on, you know, in the Keyblade graveyard, and we'll have Ephemer be like, ah, gee, it sure is a shame that no one else knows about this Keyblade War except us. It's crazy that I'm a union leader, right? And then that'll all be revealed then. I think that's the way I format it. So I should probably add a note down here. Be like, Keyblade Graveyard. I'll try and remember to include that detail later. So I'll have the I'll switch scenes to it being Daybreak Town at night. So I will subtract I will subtract Ephemer because he leaves. After fighting more Heartless, the player then goes back to the fountain and waits for Ephemer. And then I'll switch seeds to Daybreak Town Knight. Ephemer never shows up and the player starts to get a bit worried. So Ephemer does show up, but he doesn't show up until the next day. But I'm also wondering if I should include the scene with Sturlitzia here, because Sturlitzia, while all this is happening, is chilling on the roof. So I should probably add Sturlitzia. Meanwhile, this weird person is just sitting, watching the player on a rooftop, not saying anything. So, new scene. Daybreak Town Day. I should probably clarify that up here too. Daybreak Town Day, and we need. Who do we need? Oh, they don't even explore the tower. The player just goes, "Nah, I'm not ready. I'm just gonna leave." So I just need Ephemer and the player. To be like, Ephemer finally shows up. Ephemer finally shows up, and then he goes, "Haha, sorry I'm late. Something came up. You ready to explore the tower now?" And then the player is like, Actually, nah. I don't want to explore the tower anymore. Actually, no, I don't want to explore the tower anymore. And then the player just dips. And then Chirithy. The player then just dips. Let's probably also get Chirithy in here as well. Actually, instead of including them up there, I'll include them down here to be like, yeah, you probably don't want to be anywhere near that tower anyway. The Union leaders keep fighting and disagreeing with each other, and you're already involved in one of their problems, so it's probably best you kinda stay away from there and just fight more darkness. Yeah, you probably don't want to be anywhere near that tower anyway. You usually just keep fighting, disagree with each other. You're already involved in one of their problems, so it's best you just kind of stay away from there and just fight more darkness. So the player dips and Ephemer goes to the tower on his own. Let's probably have Ephemer be like, "Are you freaking loser? Sorry I'm late. Something came out. You ready to explore the tower now? Actually, nah, I don't want to explore the tower anymore. Are you freaking loser?" Player then dips and Ephemer goes to the tower on his own. Yeah, you probably don't want to be anywhere near that tower anyway. You really just keep fighting, disagreeing with each other. You're already involved in one of their problems. It's probably best you just kind of stay away from there and just fight more darkness. That's all you need to do. It's just fight the darkness. Are all these dreams important? Player's a dream that Ephemer is waiting for him in the tower, so he goes alone to Cherthi and meets Ava. Ava then kicks his skull in and sees that he has sadness in his heart, and if he festers that, it will be consumed by darkness. The player then goes home. Does he do that in his dream, or does he actually do that? While the player is sleeping, Cherthi meets with Ava, who tells it that Ephemer is in an unchanged state and shows the player the dream that he was in the tower. So this did happen in the dream, I think. Ephemer is in another realm, and the fact that you can communicate with the player means that the player is getting closer to that realm. I still don't fully understand all that. Oh, and here we meet Skuld. Okay. At this point, the video just says to watch their keyback cover. That's still funny to me. We see Strelitzia sitting on a roof talking about like poetry or whatever. Players being abducted by UFOs. And this is like where the war starts happening. So I'm just trying to figure out what's important and what's not important. I'm gonna have another sip of my coffee. Yeah, and then Donald and Goofy show up. This is more Disney World shenanigans. The whole unchained state thing. Maybe I should just look that up on its own, because I have no idea what that is. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I just want to do this. Thank you. Union Cross Unchained State. Yeah, haha, it's the name of the game. Ephemer sends the player the dream. According to Ava, He's fallen in an unchained state. Yeah, I know what she says. What is the unchained state? It sends people to a different realm. So why or how or why is he able to send dreams? Unchained realm. I think it's really stupid and a crappy cop-out. Thank you. Uh-huh. So even if people are saying that it's kind of dumb and a cop-out anyway. Okay, Jesus, there's so much. Uh-huh, yeah, I know about the illusions. So the Unchained Realm. So is Ephemer in the new world already? Because it seems like the Unchained Realm is the new world, because that's where they all end up. That's where, like, they all wake up from. Okay. So when Ava tells the player that Ephemer's in an unchained state, I'm just gonna, because we don't see Ephemer ever since this point. It's all, we see Strelitzia, we see Skuld, but we don't see Ephemer. Yeah, we see Skuld and Ephemer at the end of Kingdom Hearts Key, and then it starts Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. Yeah, okay. So this is the last time we see Ephemer. So I'm just gonna assume that he's already in the new world, because that makes the most sense to me. So did I even ever explain what the new world is? I guess, yeah, that's Ava's whole thing. Scatter Keyblade weirdos and bring them to the new world after this one was destroyed. Yeah. So, okay. Alright. I was able to clarify some things. So hopefully this should go better. So where'd I leave off at? Yeah, her role. He's ready to explore the tower. So I should probably mention this dream at least. So the player then goes home and goes to bed. So this, it doesn't really need to be day here. So I can probably get rid of this whole scene here. So plus ephemer. Make that bold. So it's still night, technically. Like, it's not in the game, but it'll just make it easier. Probably don't want to be near that tower anyway. And they keep fighting. And then meanwhile, Strelitzia is watching over all of them. Player then goes home and goes to bed. And then we get the player's room night. And we need the player and I think ephemer. So and I'll probably get Chirithy here as well. The player is having a snooze while Chirithy is just kind of watching him sleep, which is perfectly normal for Chirithy to do. Player's having a snooze while Chirithy's just kind of watching him sleep, which is perfectly normal for Chirithy to do, because why not? The player has a dream that ephemer is waiting for the player at the tower, and then I'll just have ephemer be in the room, be like, hey, I kinda need you at this tower ASAP. I know you said you don't wanna, but I kinda need you here. I kinda need you at this tower ASAP. Some stuff is going down, and I need you here right away. Even though you're just a child and aren't equipped to handle these kind of situations. I want to like mention something like that. I should probably say, like, so ephemer appears in the player's dream, and he's like, hey, I need you at this tower ASAP. Stuff's going down. I need you here right away, even though we're all just children. We aren't able to handle these kind of situations. So the player then wakes up and he's like, oh boy, I'm being socially pressured into doing something I don't want to do. I better go to this tower and find out what's going on. I should probably also mention, like, being socially pressured into doing something I don't want to do by this weird kid that I only met for like 3 minutes. Better go to this tower and find out what's going on. The player then leaves for the tower. So I don't have like an in-between shot of like him going up the tower, so I'm just gonna pull up the meeting room here. Union leader meeting room. And this is the player plus Chirithy plus Ava, because she appears as well. Because, yeah, Ava kicks his skull in. So Ava's like, hey, you aren't supposed to be in here. And the player's like, Ephemer came in here before me. Where is he? And then Ava's like, I'm gonna fight you now. I'm gonna kill you now. You aren't supposed to see any of this. And then the player and Ava fight, and Ava kicks the player's skull in. And then Ava's like, yeah. Oh, gee, I see that you have sadness in your heart. Ephemer is in an unchained state, meaning that I already sent him to the new world that you that you don't know anything about. Ephemer was also the one that sent you the dream telling you to come here because of the fact that he's in an unchained state. Also, don't worry about any of this. It will all make more sense later. And then the player, I did not mean to do that. Stop, go away. And then the player is just like, okay. The player then just gets up and leaves. So what do we have here? Let's read this from the top. So the player's just having a snooze. So this is after the player's like, actually, you know, I don't really feel like going to the tower. And Ephemer's like, okay, you freaking loser. The player's having a snooze in his bed, and Chirithy's just kind of watching him sleep, which is perfectly normal. Don't worry about it. The player's having a dream that Ephemer is waiting for the player at the tower. And Ephemer's like, hey, I kind of need you at this tower ASAP. Stuff's going down. Need you here right away. Even though we're all just children and we aren't equipped to handle these kinds of situations. And the player's like, oh boy, I'm being socially pressured into doing something I don't want to do by this weird kid they only met for like 3 minutes. I better go to this tower and find out what's going on. And then Ava's like, hey, you weren't supposed to be here. Ephemer came in here before me. Where is he? I'm going to kill you now. You aren't supposed to see any of this. And then the player and Ava fight. And then Ava kicks the player's skull in. And Ava's like, oh, gee, I see that you have sadness in your heart. Ephemer's in an unchanged state, meaning I already sent him to the new world that you don't know anything about. Ephemer is also the one that sent you the dream telling you to come here because of the fact that he's in an unchanged state. Also, don't worry about any of this. It'll all make sense later. And the player's just like, okay, and then he leaves. I should just say, because he can just do that. And because of the fact that and because he's in an unchanged state. Ephemer is also one that sent you the dream telling you to come here because he can just do that and because he's in an unchanged state. Also, don't worry about any of this, it'll all make more sense later. The player's like, okay, and he leaves. And then he just fights more Heartless, right? He just like continue, you know, perfectly normal. Business as usual, I see. Bracelet of Light. The Bracelet of Light doesn't really matter, does it? It's only the power bangle that matters. So we go back to... So that's the whole... This is like all like Ephemer's arc. So I should probably like section these off. So this will be like, this is the intro and explaining the world. Intro and explaining how this world works. And then down here, yeah, this is all Ephemer's arc. So now we are in Skuld's arc. Because we're back in Daybreak Town, and we need the player and Skuld. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Go away. Go away. Thank you. The player is fighting more Heartless. And I should probably get like Heartless here as well. And he meets a girl sitting by the fountain. She's like, why do all the unions have to keep fighting with each other? She says she saw Ephemer in her dream, and that he told her to meet with the player. They talk for a bit, and agree to go to the tower where Ephemer was in the dream. But before then, they see Envy and Ased fighting in the town. The player and Scold fight 3 weird-looking Heartless that want to steal the Lux from them. The Heartless run away, and we see the Dark Chirithy, and this is this the reveal about the Dark Chirithy or not yet? All purple and evil looking, says there's no light, no one have to fight anymore. The player's Chirithy asks where the Dark Chirithy's wielder is, to which they say closer than you think. The player and Skull explore the tower and find the Foreteller's chamber, but your Union leader catches you in the room. He explains that Ephemer was also caught in the Foreteller's chamber, and that all Ephemer wanted to do is gain information about the other Union from the player, and that he was using the player, so Union took care of him. Player says, I don't care, he was my friend, how could you do this? And then he kicks your skull in. And then it's revealed that it's actually Ava, and the room you're in was just a projection. Tells you that the world is ending, you and Skull are invited to join the Dandelions. Skulls agrees immediately, but the player needs time to think. Okay, and then I think that's the entirety of Skull's arc, right? And then... okay. So then after Skull's arc starts like Sterlitzia's arc, because then she pops up and she's like, I really want to talk to the player, but I'm way too stubborn and shy. And then, yeah, Ava tells Sterlitzia that she's a Union leader. And then maybe this is where I mentioned that Ephemer is also a Union leader. So let's get started with this now. So he meets Skuld. So Skuld's like, oh hey, you must be the player. My name is Skuld. This weird dude with silver hair came to me in my dream and told me to meet you here. And the player's like, huh, that's not weird and creepy at all. So Skuld should probably mention that, like, I'm also from a different union, but I wish all these unions would just stop fighting with each other all the time. Just stop fighting over the light all the time. It's getting so tiring. My notes don't really mention why she wants to go to the tower. So I could probably just, like, kind of make up a reason for this, because if I didn't write it down, it doesn't really matter. So Skuld's like, I'm also from a different union, but I wish all these unions would just stop fighting over the light all the time. It's getting so tiring. I'm gonna I'm gonna go straight to that tower and give him what for? Give him a piece of my mind. Or I should probably, like, just as, like, a non-sequitur, just be like, anyway, anyway. Anyway, Effermer told me to go to the tower with you. You coming? Because I assume Effermer was the one that told her to go to the tower with the player. Anyway, Effermer told me to go to the tower with you, and the player's like... Not this again. This is the second time now I'm being pressured into doing something I don't want to do. Ha ha ha. Funny, funny. They go to the tower. I'm gonna save all the Dark Chirithy stuff until right at the end. Because, yeah, it gets explained in this paragraph here. Yeah, because then it's revealed that the bangle that he's wearing is actually collecting dark energy. Oh no. So, we'll just say they go to the tower. So, Union Leader Meeting Room. So we need the player, Skuld, Ava, and Ira. It's Ira, right? Yeah. Because that's your Union Leader. So Ira comes up and he's like... I should probably have him say exactly what Ava said, because it's funny. Hey, you aren't supposed to be in here. And then the player... I should probably mention the fact that Ira's like, hey, you aren't supposed to be in here. Effermer... We caught Effermer in here, and we took care of him. Yeah, that'll work. We caught Effermer in here earlier, and we took care of him. Oh, by the way, did you know that Effermer was just trying to get information out of you? Yeah, guess what? He was just trying to use you this whole time. You can't trust people from other unions, stupid. The player then goes, I don't care. I met him for like 3 minutes, but I trust him with my life, and he's my best friend forever. How dare you say that about my best friend? I'm going to kill you now. And then the player and Ira fight, but Ira kicks the player's skull in. And then Ira's like, you used the exact same fighting style as when you fought me before. You really gotta change up your strategy if you don't want me to see right through you. And then the player's like, huh? But I've never fought you before. And then Ira is revealed to actually be Ava in disguise. Whoa. And then plus Ava minus Ira. So I can get rid of her from up here because I'm going to add her later. So it all starts, so they go to the tower, and Ira's like, hey, you weren't supposed to be in here. We caught Ephemer in here earlier, and we took care of him. Oh, by the way, did you know that Ephemer's just trying to get information out of you? Guess what? He was trying to use you this whole time. You can't trust people from other unions, stupid. And the player's like, I don't care. I met him for like 3 minutes, but I trust him with my life. He's my best friend forever. How dare you say that about my best friend? I'm gonna kill you now. And then they fight, and then he loses. Use the exact same fighting styles when you fought me before. You really gotta change up your strategy if you don't want me to see right through you. Well, huh? But I've never fought you before. And then Ira is revealed to actually be Ava in disguise. And then Ava's like, let's see. That's fine. This world is ending. You and Scold are invited to join the Dandelions. And Ava's like, okay, so here's the situation. This world is ending, and I'm gathering people to join this group called the Dandelions, who are going to join me in the new world instead of fighting in the Great Keyblade War. You in? Okay, so here's the situation. The world is ending. I'm gathering people to join this group called the Dandelions. You're going to join me in this new world instead of fighting the Great Keyblade War. I'm literally saving your life so that you don't have to be a part of literal war, seeing as you all are literal children. You in? This world is ending. I'm gathering people to join this group called the Dandelions who are going to join me in this new world instead of fighting in the Great Keyblade War. I'm literally saving your life so you don't have to be part of the literal war, seeing as you're all literal children. You in? Scold is like, yeah, I'm in. Oh, I should probably also mention, oh, also, Ephemer is a union leader in this new world. You in? And Scold's like, you'd have to be literally stupid to not take this deal. If it means not fighting in war, then yeah. I'm gonna join. And I should probably also mention, also Ephemer's the union leader in this new world, and Scold is also going to be a union leader. You'd have to be literally stupid to not take this deal. If it means not fighting in the literal war, then yeah, I'm gonna join. But the player is like, oh gee, I'm just not sure. Oh gosh darn, I'm gonna have to think about this. Gee whiz. Oh gee, oh, I'm just not sure. Oh gosh darn, I'm just gonna have to think about this. Gee whiz, I sure don't know what I should do. And then, yeah, we'll have a whole bit about that. And then Key Black cover, which is literally just all about the union leaders, and it's not really that important. And then that's the end of Scold's arc, and then we start Strelitzia's arc. Bam. There we go. So we're back at the fountain. Daybreak Town Day. And we need the player. Actually, we don't need the player, because Strelitzia never meets the player. So what happens during Strelitzia's arc? Let me just read through all this real quick. Group of people start fighting each other and accuse each other of stealing the light. You fight one of the union leaders, but are stopped by your union leader. The other leader tells the group to settle it in the battlefield. It's foretelling the war, and it's fine. We see Strelitzia sitting on a roof talking about like poetry or whatever. So we definitely need Strelitzia. You are all under heading 2. Yeah, there we go. I always forget how to spell Strelitzia. Strelitzia is sitting in the corner. Doing slam poetry. And then I'll have a whole bit about that, where she's just doing some slam poetry. Talks about how she first saw the player sitting at the fountain waiting for Ephemer, and since then, she always sees the player running around doing missions, gathering light. She always wanted to say hi, but she was too shy. She saw the player start to doubt their mission, knew there was something more, something they weren't being told. Basically, she's always watched over the player, but never came down to say hi. Master Ava tells Strelitzia that she's a union leader, so we need Ava as well. Then Ava shows up. And then we'll have Strelitzia say, "Oh man, I keep seeing that player run around doing his missions. I was there watching him while he was waiting for Ephemer, and I just felt so bad. I want to say hi so bad, but I'm just too shy." And then Ava is like, "That's great. Oh, also, did you know that you are going to be a union leader in the new world?" There we go. That's great. Oh, also, did you know that you're going to be a union leader in the new world? And then Strelitzia's like, "Huh? What do you mean, new world?" And then Ava's like, "Oh yeah, my whole thing is I'm gathering Keyblade wielders to come with me to this new world, seeing as this world is getting destroyed by the great. Seeing as this world is going to be destroyed." And then Strelitzia's like, "Oh, that's really neat. I'm glad everyone is going to be safe in this new world after this one is destroyed. I'm so happy that you are doing your part to make sure that absolutely nobody dies, seeing as you know we're all children." "Oh, that's really neat. I'm glad everyone's going to be safe in this new world after this one's destroyed. I'm so happy that you're doing your part to make sure absolutely nobody dies, seeing as you know we're all children." And then Ava's like, "Oh, did I say everyone? No, I'm only grabbing a few people." They're gonna be a part of the Dandelions while the rest of them fight in war. There we go. Oh, did I say everyone? No, I'm only grabbing a few people. They're gonna be part of the Dandelions while the rest of them fight in war. And then Strelitzia's like, "Well, is the player going with you?" And then I was like, Huh? Oh. I don't know. So starting from the top, this reads, Strelitzia's sitting in the corner doing slam poetry. Then Ava shows up. Aw, man, I keep seeing the player run around doing his missions. I was there watching him while I was waiting for Ephemer, and I just felt so bad. I wanted to say hi, but I'm just too shy. Oh, that's great. Oh, also, do you know you're going to be a union leader in the New World? Huh? What do you mean, New World? Oh, yeah, my whole thing is I'm gathering Keyblade wielders come with me to this new world, seeing as this world's going to be destroyed. Oh, that's really neat. I'm glad everyone's going to be safe in this new world after this one's destroyed. I'm so happy that you're doing your part to make sure that absolutely nobody dies, seeing as, you know, we're all children. Oh, did I say everyone? No, I'm only grabbing a few people. They're going to be part of the Dandelions while the rest of them fight in war. Well, is the player going with you? Huh? Oh, I don't know. And then Strelitzia's like, I gotta go find the player. So that's her whole thing. Yeah, she needs to recruit him first thing in the morning. Meanwhile, the player's being abducted by UFOs in the Keyblade graveyard and is asleep. His Chirithy and Scald are there in their bedroom, watching them sleep. So now we're just shifting focus back to the player. He's asleep in his room, dreaming about being abducted by UFOs. And his Chirithy and Scald are just kind of in his room watching him sleep. They talk about how Master Ava went missing, and first thing in the morning they go to look for her. They think that Gula might know something about this. And then the player then goes, and they all find Ava. The team finds out from Gula that Ava is out looking for the Master of Masters as well as Luxu, to try and understand what's going on and maybe how to stop the war. Ava finds Luxu and asks him what he's been doing all this time, and he's just like watching. He's doing his role. He needs to let events play out according to the lost page from the Book of Prophecies, so that the Master of Masters can fulfill his plan, meaning he's not going to help stop the war. Ava and Luxu fight each other. And then war happens. So that's it for Strelitzia's whole thing. But does it mention that she dies? Because that's important. Did I mention here that she dies? Because, yeah, they go and find... They're trying to find Ava, who's just kind of gone. War's about to begin. Players just not sure what to do. They run into Dark Chirithy. They talk about the bangle. Oh, yeah. Okay. She dies. Oops. Strelitzia walks into the place where the player met Gula, but she's just too late. As she's leaving, she dies. Oops. And we don't know what killed her. So I'll just probably represent that by just having the darkness kill her. And I'll mention that here. It's technically not in order, but like it doesn't really matter. So I'll have Alva be like, okay, sure, good luck with that. And then Ava then leaves. Strelitzia is left alone to try and find the player. Then we bring in the darkness. Whoa. Okay, good. I thought I just friggin' erased everything. God dang it. No bold. Ava then leaves. Strelitzia is left alone to try and find the player. Then darkness shows up all of a sudden. a dark figure appears and kills Strelitzia. And then that's the end of Strelitzia's arc. So the next bit of thing we gotta do. So starting from the top, let's just read this, make sure it all makes sense. Strelitzia's sitting in the corner doing slam poetry. Then Ava shows up. And Strelitzia's like, "Oh man, I keep seeing that darn player run around doing his missions. I was watching him while I was waiting for F from her, and it just felt so bad. I wanted to say hi, but I'm just too shy." That's great. Oh, also, did you know that you're going to be a union leader in the new world? Huh? What do you mean new world? Oh yeah, my whole thing is I'm gathering Keyblade wielders to come with me to this new world, seeing as this world's going to be destroyed. Oh, that's really neat. I'm glad everyone's going to be safe in this new world after this one's destroyed. I'm so happy that you're doing your part to make sure that absolutely nobody dies, seeing as you know we're all children. Oh, did I say everyone? No, I'm only grabbing a few people. They're going to be part of the Dandelions while the rest of them fight in war. Well, the player's going with you? Huh? Oh, I don't know. I gotta go find the player. Okay, sure, good luck with that. Ava then leaves. Strelitzia is left alone to try and find the player. All of a sudden, a dark figure appears and kills Strelitzia. And that's the end of her arc. Alright, perfect. We're doing great so far. We're making progress. Next is... Master Ava went missing. So, in the player's bedroom... And we'll make it day. Because it's like, you know, it's like that morning, I think. Yeah, it's just the player's room. So the player's room day. And we need, we need the player, we need Chirithy, and we need Skuld. So, Chirithy and Skuld are standing in the player's room, watching him sleep. You know, as you do. And they are talking with each other. So Skuld is like... Is it Skuld that starts the conversation? They just talk about how Master Ava went missing and that they're gonna look for her. Maybe Chirithy's the one that mentions it. Chirithy's like, "Hey, Skuld. We haven't seen Ava in a while. She alright?" And then Skuld's like, "I don't know. Maybe we should drag the player along to help us look for her. He's got nothing better to do, right?" And then Chirithy's like, "Boy, we sure love bringing the player. Boy, we sure love bringing the player into potentially deadly situations, huh? Boy, we sure love involving the player. Boy, we sure love forcefully involving the player into our own problems. Boy, we sure love forcefully involving the player with our own problems." That's how I'll word it. don't we? And then Scald's like, that's kind of everyone in this game, isn't it? Haha. So Cheer's like, hey, Scald, we haven't seen Ava in a while. Is she alright? I don't know. Maybe we should drag the player along to help us look for her. He's got nothing better to do, right? Boy, we sure love forcefully involving the player with our own problems, don't we? That's kind of everyone in this game, isn't it? Haha. And then yeah. So Chirithy then is like, I think Gula knows something about where Ava might have gone to. Let's talk with him when the player wakes up. I think Gula knows something about where Ava might have gone. Let's talk with him when the player wakes up. And then they learn from Gula that Ava is out looking for the Master of Masters as well as Lushu to try and understand what's going on and maybe how to stop the war. You know what? It might be better to just cut out the whole them trying to find Ava. Maybe they're just like kind of talking about how Ava maybe went missing. You know what? Because, yeah, in this conversation, then I could probably mention that, like, hey, war is kind of starting up soon. And Ava's just kind of missing. So, yeah, maybe we cut all this out, and then we do a cut to where Ava is, and then we have her fighting with Lushu. I don't know. So, yeah, instead of all this, maybe we do... Scald's like, oh, I don't know. Literal war is coming up soon. And the player, stupidly... isn't part of the Dandelions yet. And then Chirithy's like, I know. Ava was literally saving him from fighting in war for absolutely no reason besides to fulfill a bunch of adults' anger towards each other. I know, Ava was literally saving him from fighting in war for absolutely no reason besides to fulfill a bunch of adults' anger towards each other. And then Scald's like... Ah, gee. We better do something to we should probably well, let's see. Where should it go from here? Cherokee like, hey, Scald, we haven't seen Ava in a while. Is she alright? I don't know. Literal war is coming up soon, and the player stupidly isn't part of the Dandelions yet. The Cherokee's like, oh, I know. Ava's literally saving them from fighting in war for absolutely no reason besides to fulfill a bunch of adults' anger towards each other. And then Scald's like, maybe when the war comes up, maybe we just kind of do something about it. Scald's like, maybe when war happens, we take action to make sure the player doesn't have to fight. And then Chirithy's like, boy, we sure love making decisions for other people. And then maybe that's how that ends. So Chirithy's like, hey, Scald, we haven't seen Ava in a while. Is she alright? I don't know. Literal war's coming up soon. The player stupidly isn't part of the Dandelions yet. I know, Ava's literally saving them from fighting in war for absolutely no reason besides to fulfill a bunch of adults' anger towards each other. And Scald's like, maybe when war happens, we take action to make sure the player doesn't have to fight. Boy, we sure love making decisions for other people. Especially when it involves life and death. And then it cuts away to Ava and them, so... We are now in the Keyblade Graveyard, which is technically not where she meets Lushu, but again, it doesn't matter. So, the Keyblade Graveyard, and we need Ava and Lushu. So, Lushu is standing in the middle of the Keyblade Graveyard with his Keyblade and his box, just kinda watching the ground. Ava comes up to him. Ava's like, hey, Lushu, what you doing? And Lushu's like, I don't know, just kinda watching. That's what the master told me to do anyway. And then Alva's like, you're not gonna do anything to help stop this war or anything? Just simply watching. He needs to let events play out according to the lost page so that the master can fulfill his plan, and he's not going to help stop the war, and then that's all we get about that. Hey Lushu, what you doing? I don't know, just kind of watching. That's what the master told me to do anyway. Ava's like, so, you not gonna do anything to help stop the war? Maybe help stop literal children from killing each other? And Lushu's like, nah. I mean, all the master told me to do was to watch it happen. Apparently, war needs to happen in order for the master to fulfill his big plan. And I was like, the master has a big plan, and it involves children war? And Lushu's like, I don't know. Involves children fighting in war, and Lushu's like, I don't know. He just kinda told me to watch. And then Ava's like, You're just kinda okay with that? And Lushu's like, yeah. I'm just gonna watch. And then maybe he like takes a bite out of popcorn or something. So maybe up here I'm like, Lushu is standing in the middle of the Keyblade graveyard with his Keyblade, his box. And a tub of popcorn. Just kind of watching the ground. Ava comes up to him. Hey Lushu, what you doing? I don't know, just kind of watching. That's what the master told me to do anyway. So you're not going to do anything to help stop the war? Maybe stop literal children from killing each other? Nah. I mean, all the master told me to do was to watch it happen. Apparently war needs to happen in order for the master to fulfill his big plan. The master has a big plan? And it involves children fighting in war? I don't know. Just kind of told me to watch. You're just kind of okay with that? Yeah, I'm just going to watch. And that's it for Ava's arc. So now we can talk about war. War happens now. So let's see. We need the Keyblade graveyard. And it starts with, let's see, the player and Skuld. Because Skuld is going to be there to be like, hey, listen, you know you don't have to fight in war. You can literally be saved from, like, all this. So let's see. I'm going to read through what happens during the war. So, meanwhile, the bell tolls and war is about to begin. Skuld tries to persuade the player not to fight and join the Dandelions, but the player just isn't sure what to do yet. Meanwhile, they run into Dark Tirthy, and the whole time the bangle they've been wearing has been collecting dark energy. They explains that they came from the player's dark energy and that they've been implanting nightmares so that it could gain freedom. Then it just sends a bunch of darklings after the player, and then it turns into a boss fight. Then the Dark Tirthy disappears, saying they'll see the player in another dream, even though I don't think we ever see the Dark Tirthy ever again after this? I'm not entirely sure. But I mean, I'll still mention him because, sure, it's a dumb twist. Then Strelitzia dies, and then Keyblade War happens. All the unions are in their corners, they start fighting each other, including the player. People die, and it's really messed up for a kid's game. The player then just goes through and fight all the union leaders. They don't fight their own leader. Ava tells the player to go with the Dandelions to get farther away. The player just keeps fighting. Afterwards, the player's lying down in the middle of the Keyblade graveyard, and they meet Skuld and Ephemer. So let's see. The player and Skuld or I should say, like, Skuld runs up to the player standing in the middle of the Keyblade graveyard. I should probably also mention that in the Keyblade graveyard, because this is the around like the first mention of the Keyblade graveyard. I should probably put it like a footnote here, being like, we see the Keyblade graveyard, but all the keys stuck in the ground shouldn't be there yet. Just don't worry about all those keys until the war happens, because they aren't supposed to be there yet. Unless maybe I should get a shot of the Keyblade graveyard before all the keys show up. I wonder. Union Cross Keyblade graveyard before war. Because, yeah, we see the Keyblade graveyard and all the keys are stuck in the ground, but I want a shot without all the keys. If that's possible. They're just talking about their theory crafting. That's fine. Maybe I should pull up, instead of the Keyblade graveyard, I do have a shot. I have this. I could just pull up this background. So I'll just pull up the dry desert and then be like, oh boy, everyone's, you know, fighting in the Keyblade War, and then it becomes the Keyblade graveyard, and all these keys appear in the ground. So maybe I do that. Maybe that's what I do. So instead of the Keyblade graveyard, I pull up the dry desert scene. And then, yeah, there we go. Then that'll be fine. Standing in the middle of the area. So we don't need this footnote anymore. So in the middle of the area, with his Keyblade, his box, and a tub of popcorn. Standing in the middle of the area. And then Scold's like, you know, you really don't have to fight in this war. You are literally going to die, and you're like 12 years old. You're literally only fighting in this war because of a bunch of angry adults. And then the player's like, nah, I want to fight. And Scald's like, all right, have fun dying. I'm just gonna dip. And then Scald leaves. All of a sudden, a really evil-looking dark Chirithy shows up. Because we haven't mentioned Dark Chirithy in this script yet. We just saw him give the bangle to the player. So we minus Scald and plus Dark Chirithy. And then Dark Chirithy's like, ha ha ha, I'm an evil Chirithy. Maybe I should have this be the meme of like, I'm like an evil, screwed up Chirithy. What's the meme? Let me look up the meme. Drew an evil hamburger helper. Yeah, here it is. Just a glimpse into my dark reality. A full stare into my twisted perspective would make most simply go insane. So yeah, maybe we reference this meme here. I'm like an evil, screwed up Chirithy. Just a glimpse into my dark reality. A full stare into my twisted perspective would make most simply go insane, Lamau. And then the player's like, who are you? And then the Dark Chirithy's like, hey, remember that power bangle you got, like, way at the start of all this? Yeah, guess what? I was the one that gave you that. So Dark Chirithy's like, I'm like an evil, screwed up Chirithy. Just a glimpse into my dark reality. A full stare into my twisted perspective would make most simply go insane, Lamau. The player's like, who are you? And the Chirithy's like, hey, remember that power bangle you got like way at the start of all this? Yeah, guess what? I was the one that gave you that. And then what does it do? It's been collecting dark energy. That thing has been collecting dark energy this whole time. I'm now like really powerful. And then the player and the Dark Chirithy fight each other. Player and the Dark Chirithy fight each other. And the player kicks its skull in. There we go. And then the Dark Chirithy's like, arg. Why? No. You'll regret this. And then the Dark Chirithy just kind of disappears. The Dark Chirithy disappears. So minus Dark Chirithy. And the player's like, well, that was unnecessary. And then, yeah, now Keyblade War happens. So how should I represent that? Now the Keyblade War is happening. Everyone is fighting each other and dying. And it's really messed up. Now this random desert is turning into what we know as the Keyblade Graveyard. And now we switch scenes to the Keyblade Graveyard. So everyone's fighting each other and dying. It's really messed up. Now this random desert turning what we know as the Keyblade Graveyard. The player fights the other union leaders. Besides their own. The player fights all the other union leaders besides his own. Ava shows up. So we need plus Ava. And she's like... And then maybe down here we do like plus... So let's see, what would it be? It would be... I forgot the names of the union leaders already. It would be specifically... No, stop. Said Gula Envy. Because those are the ones that the player fights. And then Ava shows up and she's like... You know... This will be the last time I ask you to please, for the love of God, join the Dandelions. I'm literally saving you from war. And then the player's like, nah, I just like fighting. Lamau. Then the player dies, right? The player then keeps fighting and ends up lying dead in the middle of the Keyblade Graveyard. Skuld comes... I'll just have like Skuld and Ava come up and drag the players dead corpse across the graveyard. And then that's the end of Kingdom Hearts Key. Oh boy, okay. We got a lot done. I didn't want to end stream before I got... I'm like, I kind of figured out a pattern for how I wanted to do all this. Separating them into their own separate arcs and like what happens and stuff. I got it like halfway through and then I'm like, you know what? Let's see, yeah. On this set of notes over here, the Keyblade, or Kingdom Hearts Key is just like 4 pages. So I could just like do all that. And I'm like, at least now I was able to get all of this done today. So we made a lot of progress. We still have a lot to do because, let's see, there's still 8 pages of this left. If we could just sit down for like 3 hours and do like 4 pages of this at a time, then that means we only really need to do 2 more streams of this. Especially since Union Cross has a lot more fluff and a lot more stuff that we don't really need. And I suppose, yeah, I cut out a lot of fluff anyway from watching the YouTube video. So yeah. I think before we end stream, I'm gonna go all the way back up here. And instead of calling this script, I'm gonna separate it by its game. So this is Kingdom Hearts Key. So I guess, yeah, before we end off, let's read what we did so far and kind of go over everything that we did. So yeah, it all starts with Kyrie's grandma and Kyrie. Kyrie's grandma is telling Kyrie a fairy tale telling how the people fought over light, got consumed by darkness, but because of the hearts of children, light survived and they created a new world. The player then chooses their union. Cole chose the Unicorn Union, and I will show the video. Ira comes up and tells the player that he needs to get as much light as possible because the other unions want to use the light for different reasons, maybe evil reasons. Ooh. Then we cut away to the union leader meeting room, and then we explain their whole situation. So a while ago, the Master of Masters created a little guy called Shirathi. Maybe that should be a footnote at the end. Maybe instead of this. So we say, then the master created a little guy called Shirathi. And then, yeah, that comes up later. And then up here we say, a while ago, the Master of Masters summoned... So a while ago, the Master of Masters summoned his 5 apprentices to tell them that he is going to disappear. To tell them that he, more specifically, has been leading this world for so long and is going to disappear. He gave each of them a role to play out while he was gone. He also gave each of them a copy of the Book of Prophecies, which is a book the Master wrote detailing everything that's going to happen in the future. The last page of the book states that this world's going to be destroyed by a great Keyblade war between all the unions because there's an imposter among them and they just can't stop fighting about it. Ira, and then this details all the roles. Ira is going to take over for the Master and lead over the other apprentices. Envy was going to watch over the other apprentices and report back to Ira. Ased was going to be Ira's right-hand man and support him as he led. Gula was going to be the one to research and uncover the mysteries behind the Book of Prophecies. Ava was to gather Keyblade wielders and bring them to the new world after this one was destroyed. One of the names is I skipped a line. The Master hands her a list of 5 names, each of which will be union leaders in the new world. One of the names is circled in red, and that person is the one who will receive the Book of Prophecies. Lushu was given the role to take a mysterious box and his Keyblade, No Name, with him to watch over the events of the world so the Book of Prophecies could be written. The Book of Prophecies can't be written if no one's there to watch everything. The Master shows him what's in the box, but we as the audience don't get to see what's in it. He is then told to never open the box. Then the Master created a little guy called Chirithy. Chirithy's a little being born of light and serves to help the player. I should probably mention that the Chirithy is a Dream Eater as well. So instead of he's a being, he's a Dream Eater. Chirithy is a Dream Eater, born of light, and serves to help the player. Every Keyblade wielder has their own Chirithy. The four tellers then leave to lead over their unions, and the Master and Lushu disappear. Disney World. Chirithy gives the player his Keyblade, tells him to fight the darkness. The player then fights a bunch of darkness in the Disney Worlds. His motivation is to collect more light than the other unions. Ira is pressuring the player to get more light because he wants to involve the player in his own problem and make the player find the imposter among them. You don't want the world to be destroyed, do you? You better get more light. When a Keyblade wielder with a Chirithy dies, that Chirithy also dies. That's also just mentioned. After fighting a bunch of Heartless, Chirithy then gives the player a power bangle. Please equip this and never take it off, please. I would greatly appreciate it, and it's totally not suspicious at all. Haha. So that's that whole thing. That's like literally like 3 months of this entire game is just literally doing that before we get to meet Ephemer, who appears in like episode like 300 something, which is really dumb. But I'm not going to mention that because that's stupid. As the player is fighting more Heartless, he sees a weird dude with silver hair being attacked. The player then goes to help him out. Gee, thanks, mister. My name is Ephemer. I'm from a different union from the one you picked, but we can be friends. Ephemer then explains how the Disney Worlds work. They're a projection of the future from the Book of Prophecies. Basically, the player physically goes to where these worlds are on the map. They have VR goggles on showing the future. So basically, while the player is roaming an empty desert, they're seeing Aladdin and Jafar and Jasmine from the future and interacting with them. The lucks that they're getting from these worlds come from the present version of the worlds. Gee, isn't this Book of Prophecies real neat? I want to find out more about it, so I'm going to this really spooky tower where all the union leaders hang out in order to find out more. Surely nothing will go wrong, haha. And the player's like, yeah, sure, I'll go with you, because I literally have nothing better to do. Alright, cool, meet me here at this fountain tomorrow. After fighting more Heartless, the player then goes back to the fountain and waits for Ephemer. But he never shows up, and the player gets worried. Meanwhile, Strelitzia is just kind of watching him, just not saying anything and being a little bit creepy. Ephemer finally shows up. Haha, sorry I'm late. Something came up. You ready to explore the tower now? The player's like, nah, I don't want to explore the tower anymore. Ephemer's like, alright, you freaking loser. Player then dips. Ephemer goes to the tower on his own. Chirithy's like, yeah, you probably don't want to be anywhere near that tower anyway. The union leaders keep fighting and disagreeing with each other, and you're kind of already involved in one of their problems. It's kind of best you probably stay away from there and just kind of fight more darkness. And then he goes to bed. The player is having a snooze while Chirithy's just kind of watching him sleep, which is perfectly normal for a Chirithy to do. He has a dream that Ephemer's waiting for the player at the tower. He's like, hey, I kind of need you at the tower ASAP. Some stuff's going down. I need you here right away, even though we're all just children. We aren't equipped to handle these kind of situations. The player wakes up. Oh boy, I'm being socially pressured into doing something I don't want to do by this weird kid that I only met for like 3 minutes. I better go to this tower and find out what's going on. He leaves for the tower. Ava is in the tower, and Ephemer's not there. And Ava's like, hey, you aren't supposed to be in here. Ephemer came in here before me. Where is he? I'm gonna kill you now. You aren't supposed to see any of this. Player and Ava fight. Kicks his skull in. Oh, gee, I see that you have sadness in your heart. Ephemer's in an unchained state, meaning that I already sent him to the new world that you don't know anything about. Ephemer was also the one that sent you the dream telling you to come here because he can just do that and because he's in an unchained state. Also, just don't worry about any of this. It'll all make more sense later. And the player's just like, okay. And then he leaves. And that's the end of Ephemer's arc. So moving on to Skuld's arc, he's just fighting more Heartless, and he meets a girl. Oh hey, you must be the player. My name's Skuld. This weird dude with silver hair came to me in my dream and told me to meet you here. That's not weird and creepy at all. I'm also from a different union, but I wish all these unions would just stop fighting over the light all this time. It's getting so tiring. Anyway, Ephemer told me to go to the tower with you. The player's like, not this again. This is the second time now I'm being pressured into doing something I don't want to do. So, they go back to the tower. And then Ira's like, hey, you weren't supposed to be in here. We caught Ephemer in here earlier, and we took care of him. Oh, by the way, did you know that Ephemer was just trying to get information out of you? Yeah, guess what? He was trying to use you this whole time. You can't trust people from other unions, stupid. And And the player's like, oh, I don't care. I met him for like 3 minutes, but I trust him with my life, and he's my best friend forever. How dare you say that about my best friend? I'm going to kill you now. Ira kicks the player's skull in. You use the exact same fighting styles when you fought me before. You really gotta change up your strategy if you don't want me to see right through you. Well, but I never fought you before, and it's actually Ava in disguise. Okay, so here's the situation. The world is ending, and I'm gathering people to join this group called the Dandelions who are going to join me in this new world. Instead of fighting in the Great Keyblade War, I'm literally saving your life, so you don't have to be part of literal war, seeing as you are all literal children. Also, Ephemer is a union leader in this new world, and Skuld is also going to be a union leader. You in? And then Skuld's like, you literally have to be stupid in order to not take this deal. If it means not fighting in literal war, then yeah, I'm going to join. I'm just not so sure. Oh gosh darn, I'm gonna have to think about this. I don't know what to do. And that's the end of Skuld's arc. Strelitzia's arc. Strelitzia is sitting in the corner doing slam poetry, then Ava shows up. Oh man, I keep seeing that darn player run around doing his missions. I was there watching him while he was waiting for Ephemer, and I just felt so bad. I wanted to say hi, but I'm too shy. Oh, that's great. This is Ava. Oh, that's great. Oh, also, did you know that you're going to be a union leader in the new world? Huh? What do you mean, new world? Oh, yeah, my whole thing is I'm gathering Keyblade wielders. Come with me to this new world, seeing as this world's going to be destroyed. Oh, that's neat. I'm glad everyone's going to be safe in this new world after this one's destroyed. I'm so happy you're doing your part to make sure that absolutely nobody dies, seeing as, you know, we're all children. Oh, did I say everyone? No, I'm only grabbing a few people. They're going to be part of the Dandelions while the rest of them fight in war. Well, is the player going with you? Huh? Oh, I don't know. I gotta go find the player. Okay, good luck with that. Ava leaves, Strelitzia's alone, and then darkness kills her. Oops. Chirithy and Skuld are standing in the player's room watching him sleep, you know, as you do, and they're talking with each other. Hey, Skuld, we haven't seen Ava in a while. She alright? I don't know. Literal war is coming up soon, and the player stupidly isn't part of the Dandelions yet. I know. Ava was literally saving him from fighting in war for absolutely no reason besides to fulfill a bunch of adults' anger towards each other. Maybe when war happens, we make sure we take action before so that the player doesn't have to fight. Boy, we sure love making decisions for other people, especially when it involves life or death. Meanwhile, this is what's happening with Ava. Lushu is standing in the middle of this area, the dry desert, with his keyblade, his box, and a tub of popcorn, just kind of watching the ground. Ava comes up to him. Hey Lushu, what you doing? I don't know, just kind of watching. It's what the master told me to do anyway. So, you're not gonna help, I don't know, stop the war? Maybe help stop literal children from killing each other? Nah. I mean, all the master told me to do was to watch it happen. Apparently, war needs to happen in order for the master to fulfill his big plan. The master has a big plan, and it involves children fighting in war? I don't know, he just kind of told me to watch. You're just kind of okay with that? Yeah, I'm just gonna watch. And now, meanwhile, war happens. The player is standing in the middle of the desert. And Skuld's like, you know, you really don't have to fight in this war. You're literally gonna die and you're like 12 years old. You're literally only fighting in this war because of a bunch of angry adults. And the player's like, nah, I'm gonna fight. And Skuld's like, alright, have fun dying. I'm just gonna dip. Skuld leaves. All of a sudden, a really evil-looking dark Chirithy shows up. And he's like, I'm like an evil, screwed-up Chirithy. Just a glimpse into my dark reality. A full stare into my twisted perspective would make most simply go insane, Lamau. The player's like, who are you? And he's like, hey, remember that power bang we got like way at the start of all this? Yeah, guess what? I was the one that gave you that. That thing's been collecting dark energy this whole time. I'm like super powerful. And then they fight each other, and then he dies. And he's like, no, you'll regret this. And then he dies, and the player's like, that's unnecessary. Keyblade War's happening. Everyone's fighting each other and dying, and it's messed up, and it's really bad. And this desert is turning into the Keyblade Graveyard, because all the keys are shooting into the ground, and it actually kind of looks cool. They fights all the union leaders, and then Nava shows up. And she's like, you know, this will be the last time I ask you to please, for the love of God, join the Dandelions. I'm literally saving you from war. The player's like, nah, I like fighting, Lamau. And the player just keeps fighting, and he ends up lying dead in the middle of the Keyblade Graveyard. Skuld and Ava come and drag the player's dead corpse across the graveyard. Instead of across, I should probably say like away from the graveyard. And that's it. Whew, boy, that was a lot. But it looks like we got a lot of the like more important details down, and yeah, it looks really good. So I'm just gonna format this a little bit better. Just get rid of some of these useless spaces here. And yeah, there we go. Alright, I'm gonna end stream for the day. That's funny. In my messy notes, in my messy notes, the Kingdom Hearts key is 4 pages, but in this it's 6 pages, or 7 pages. But I think that's also just because this first page just shows all the characters and locations and stuff. And there's a lot more like dialogue and formatting stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with slightly less Kingdom Hearts. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow at about 5, I think. And yeah, take care. And hope you have a good one. Goodbye. Goodbye.